Hey, can I use this? Is that okay? I'll put it just over here for now. I'm going to come over in the center, though, sort of, kind of. Going to throw everyone off. It's good to be here. Good to be here. It feels good. It always has felt good. And it's been, I think, about 6 months since I was last with you. And gosh, has it really been 6 months? Time flies. And we're doing this burning bowl ceremony, which is a wonderful sort of traditional ritual in unity and new thought. I was thinking, though, as I was driving over today, that back in college and in my early single party days, a burning bowl had a different significance. And so hopefully we've graduated past that. That song, thank you so much for that song. That's so beautiful. All your expressions were great this morning. And that song in particular is one of my favorite John Denver songs. And I have a good friend who wants that song sung at her memorial service. It's a wonderful song of, letting go and lifting up and being free. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to let go. And actually, we don't want to let go. Let's be honest. I was thinking about this message all week long, and I thought, that we love the let God part, but we're not so keen on the let go part. Obviously, it's easy to let go of things that we're not attached to, right? But we're attached. We're attached to these notions of who we think we are and who we've been conditioned to believe we are. And that's in the system of our trying to let go of some of those things are really difficult. So we honor that this is difficult for some part of us, but we know that we are not just human beings, yeah? We are spiritual beings, and we have the spiritual power, we have this spiritual impulse that can push us through the difficult times in life, which is letting go of who we are not. How many people here would say that they want spiritual transformation? Anyone besides me? Okay. And spiritual transformation is not something that is withheld from us. So if it's not being withheld from us, from the divine, from ultimate reality, then how is it possible that we could not be having the experience of feeling that we are spiritual beings, first and foremost? What could be the impetus or the obstruction to that reality if it's not being withheld? It must be something that's within our own consciousness, some choice that we're making consciously or unconsciously, yes? So that's actually the good news, because if somebody else had the reins on your spiritual realization, then you would be a victim of this lack of spiritual realization. But you're not a victim because, as all of the spiritual masters have told us, that it's within our power to wake up. It's within, we are made in the image and likeness of God. You've heard that. If that's what we're made of, that isn't something that we have to become. This is a really important realization. We don't have to become spiritually realized. We already are. We just don't always recognize it. Would you say that's accurate? That you've had moments in your life where you have felt the sense of oneness and peace and unconditional love, those were maybe glimpses, or maybe they were just moments in nature, when you just felt that you were there was no boundary at the level of your body and that you were sort of connected with all of life. We've had moments like that. And of course, what we would like is to have that 24/7, right? And that's possible because of how we were made. We are heaven made. We are made in the image and likeness of love and peace and wholeness and harmony. And that is what we be, like Oprah says, love is what you be, honey, and we are this. And so this process, like today, And every kind of prayer and meditation and message that we tune into is there not to get us to become something that we are not. That would be actually ill-advised. We've had enough of that perhaps in our life, yes? Becoming something who we are not in order to fit into some mold, fit into some expectation of others, of who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to show up. But what it would be the most authentic, actual, truthful thing for us to do would be to recognize who and what we already are. And this is the primary message of all mystical spiritual paths, is to have a yoga, have a communion experience with the divine, yes? So that's what we're about, and that's what today's about as well. And I want to read a few things to you, and then we'll go into this, and we'll burn up everything that's not you. And you'll walk out on angel's wings and fly home. So, sound good? We've got 3 pages of notes, so sit back. I just found some things that I thought were really appropriate, and one of them is from the Course in Miracles. It's from lesson 322. It says, I can give up what was never real. I can give up what was never real. Right? Couldn't you give up what was never real? Now, we may have a little bit of a discussion about what is real, and that's what our contemplation will be about in a little while. It goes on to say, I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions tried to hide, awaiting me in shining welcome, and in readiness to give God's ancient messages to me. His memory abides in every gift that I receive of him, and every dream serves only to conceal the self, which is God's only Son, the likeness of himself, the Holy One who still abides in him forever, as he still abides in me. And the prayer is, Father, to you all sacrifice remains forever inconceivable, and so I cannot sacrifice except in dreams. As you created me, I can give up nothing you gave me. What you did not give has no reality. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind? What you did not give me has no reality. This can maybe begin our process of beginning to take an inventory of those things that we hold to be true, which were not of divine origin. So all of those beliefs that we hold, all those limiting notions that we may carry about ourselves, about what other people said that we could do and we couldn't do, and all that sort of acquired, conditioned thoughts and feelings that we hold in our mind, this did not come from the one presence and the one power, the one life and the one love. And so, since anything that we give up that is not of God is not truly a sacrifice, it's actually an honoring of our divine nature, yes? It's actually saying yes to who and what we truly are. And there could be no greater purpose in life than to awaken to who and what we are. Anyone agree with that? Because Lord knows we've come to believe ourselves to be something far less than the presence and the power and the love and the life of God. And we have certainly felt ourselves separate from our good in life, haven't we? We have felt ourselves separate from others and separate from the world, and needing life to be a certain way in order for us to feel okay. And the Upanishads says this, it says, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from the darkness to the light. Lead me from the temporary to the eternal. When we think of losing something or giving up something, oftentimes what sort of blocks us is feeling of emptiness The mind is not a big fan of emptiness, right? The mind, because the mind needs life to be a certain way so that it can predict how it's going to fare in this world, like certainty. And we try to empty the mind. We go into our meditation to let go of all thoughts. The mind gets very upset. So that's what works against this process of letting go is that the mind really would like us to fill it up with something else other than what we think is appropriate of letting go. But think about it this way, is that emptiness is the only condition under which you are receptive to a new idea. Do you know this one? So if one could say that every form obscures God, and emptiness is an opening to the realization of the divine. And I have to have my little mint. A moment in Jesus' life when his disciples were completely confused, because we remember the story that Jesus willingly went into Jerusalem, even though he knew what was going to happen to him. And he had this conversation with his disciples saying, I'm going into Jerusalem. And, the rational mind, the surface mind would go, are you crazy, man? Knowing what he was walking into. And Peter, his disciple, said to him, he took him aside and he said, he rebuked him. This is Peter rebuking Jesus. Tough words. He said, God forbid it, Lord. This must never happen to you. But Jesus turned to Peter and said, get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for you are gripped by human things and not divine things. Jesus was very clear that he could see beyond the human experience that he was going to go through, to see that this was a lesson of all lessons, that he would demonstrate in this experience that he was not the body that he appeared to be, just like we are not. And that by going through that experience, he would demonstrate this resurrection, that he was a spiritual being, and that he would not be diminished. As the Course in Miracles says, he could not lose what God had given him. And that's true for us. We cannot be diminished. We cannot be destroyed. We cannot be limited in any way from who and what we truly are. And that's why we have this invitation in every given moment to let go of what's not true about us, not what is not permanent, what is not essential to us, which is our spiritual reality. Course in Miracles says nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies what? The peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. When you come up here and we do this burning bowl ceremony, or before that, and you write down what you're going to release, make sure you have a broad enough inventory of everything, and maybe using words that would be inclusive, of everything that is not real in you, in your experience, in what you have taken yourself to be. Because this is what really needs to go in order for us to grow. This is really what it takes. God can do no more for us than God has already done for us. God isn't a Santa Claus that's going to shower us with these gifts and blessings, in some conditional form. That we've already got it. It's already here. It's already, we already have the spiritual DNA. But for us to recognize that is the work. And the recognition comes when we remove the obscurations to that reality. And this is from Paula D'Arcy, a wonderful author who wrote a book called A New Set of Eyes, Encountering the Hidden God. She says, it feels safe in my small world of conclusions and ideas. The physical belongings that surround me do not begin to reflect the size and breadth of thoughts and certainties that clutter my inner world and define my vision. At any moment, God could be dancing in front of me, and I might look up quickly and say, not now, I'm praying. Don't interrupt my devotional time, please. Are just that formidable. I think there was a formula or a set way to follow, but the inner journey seems to have no one course. Only that hands must be empty, heart must be seeking, treasured conclusions must be set aside. Beliefs are small in front of divine brightness. It doesn't matter what I hold to be true. All that matters is what is. Such emptiness the Spirit demands. Empty. Empty does not ring in a positive way for the mortal mind. And yet, every realization that you have of Spirit is preceded by letting go of what you think is true. So this is a process where we don't just do it today. We do it today because it's a wonderful ritual. But in the course of our life, we are invited in every moment to examine our thoughts, our beliefs, our long-held assumptions, and say, is this really true? Is this a divine idea? Is this something that is eternally true? Or is this something that I learned along the way that may have nothing to do with the truth? Because it's that willingness to sort of poke holes in these rigidly held beliefs that they then become more loosely attached to us. And as they begin to lose their hold on us, then the truth that has been imbued in our being has space to emerge, to rise up, to take the space that is created by the letting go. Anyone up for that? So this is something that I wrote a few years ago. I was in a writing class, and I was sort of really struggling with a lot of beliefs that I couldn't shake. And I actually got a little pissed off, you know what I mean? I got angry that I wasn't able to shake some of these beliefs. And I had this thought, I wish I could just, set fire to this mind and burn up all these negative, limiting thoughts. So I thought, well, that's appropriate for today, so I'm going to read this. This is called The Fire of Transformation. Sometimes I can't stand the heat of it. It feels like a burning desire to exceed the boundaries of ordinary understanding. I would rather it burn out of my control at times so that my attempts to suppress the conflagration of purification would be in vain. And I would have the satisfaction of knowing that something much more primal than my instinct to control or manage my life had won the battle for dominance in a life held too close and feared too greatly. The danger, I suspect, is not in letting the fire ravage my insecurities, but in attempting to remain in a fireproof corner of security where nothing gets singed, but nothing gets refined. And all the certainties and reliable structures remain standing as a testimony to a familiar past and barriers to a new possibility. We are told as youngsters about the danger of fire. I fear that I've outgrown the value of that admonition and must give permission to experiment with what might be better off combusted and ignited, either by passion or discontent, or a clear sense that what no longer should be stored could make a lovely bonfire, a pyre of an outmoded past. I'll look into this tinderbox and see if a return to the fire would be an appropriate alchemy for some kindling that has kept me out of the flames for too long and denied. So before we come up here and extinguish this, I'm going to take you through a meditation, and this is just a time for us to open our minds, open our hearts, and just allow the willingness, the extraordinary willingness that comes from perhaps a life that you feel has been less than what it can be in terms of peace and happiness and well-being. And to ask honestly and courageously for Spirit to reveal to you what has been holding you back from being who and what you truly are, and the peace and the happiness that are implicit in your spiritual being. So I just invite you to begin by taking a deep breath with me, and begin the letting go as you exhale. And just know that the Spirit of truth is 100% behind your willingness to let go and to become the open vessel through which Spirit may express itself. And so we begin to allow the mind to bring us these thoughts. What is it that I am ready to let go of? It may be something we've held for a long time. It may be something that we have come to believe not because we know it to be eternally true, but because it's been repeated over and over again. And we know that just with how the media operates and social media, if you repeat something often enough and long enough, people will believe it. It doesn't make it true. What is it for you that's not true? And remember, you can't give up anything that is of God. So really the list can be quite extensive. There's no way you can burn anything will burn in this fire, even if it was a physical, but we're representing it symbolically with what you write, that will diminish who and what you are. If anything, it will reveal, disclose, and uncover the truth of you. But as Meister Eckhart says, spiritual growth is more of a process of subtraction, because God has already added unto you in your creation all that you need. And what we don't need are those thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that are a limitation on our full expression as spiritual beings. So if you might look at it categorically, what would you need to give up or let go of to have more peace in your life? And as these ideas come to you, that little sheet of paper that you were given, write one word or two words, because you have little space to represent that. Does everybody have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil? If you don't, raise your hand. Okay, just hold your hand up and they'll bring you a piece of paper and a pen. So again, what is it that you are holding on to that as a belief or a thought or a feeling that is keeping you from experiencing peace? In order to have peace, the peace that passes human understanding, what do you need to let go? And now let's look at love. What is it that you would need to let go of to have more love in your life experience? We could do this quietly, please. Let's look at happiness or well-being. What belief or thought, feeling are you holding on to that seems to be obstructing your happiness? That if you didn't have this thought or feeling or belief, that you would feel free to be happy, joyous. Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes and continue writing, and then we'll come up here one at a time. Remember that every opening that we create in us is a pathway to the formless, which is the nature of spirit. It is what we are. Emptiness, openness. These are the conditions under which spiritual realization can take place most readily. We're just doing our part. It's the Father's good pleasure, as Jesus said, to have given you the kingdom, not to give it to you at some future date, but to have given you And Jesus said, pray, believing that you have already received, and it will be yours. Okay, so we can start coming up here, and let me just demonstrate how to do this. Where's my paper? Did I bring it up here? Thank you. So this is flash paper that you have in your hand. So quickly, it's used by magicians. So when you see that, so when you put in the flame, you don't want to hold your hand over the flame for an extended period of time. I don't care how tough you are. This will hurt you. So just put the corner into the flame and then let it go, and it'll flash. See if I can demonstrate. Evidence of, you don't have to worry, it's all gone. Obtained. So let's just maybe come from this side over here and then go and circle all the way around so we don't go back. Don't go back the same way you came. So when you come up this way, just go around and then back to your seat, okay?
And I can, at the end, can bring the both of those who cannot.
Right.
Come on up.
Mine's slower.
Some of them are a little moister than others. Just hold it there for just a second. There it goes. Sometimes these holding on. There you go. Perfect. Away it goes. Nice. There it goes. Yeah, good job. Oh, that's not flash paper, is it? It's going to make too much smoke, so
Yeah, perfect. You want me to do it?
you could take that and just
Yeah.
burn it later, or we'll do it after the service now. Thank you. Oof. Yeah. Sure.
Well, we have to get rid of the fire burns, right?
Yeah. Boom. Transformation happens. Right? Is that everybody? Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, thank you all. God bless.